Namaste everyone, this is Sandeep and welcome to my channel Only Study by Sandeep Dhiman. In our last video we had discussed the rise of small kingdoms in South India. We had discussed about Cholas and the Pandyas. Today we'll discuss the governance in South India. First of all we have administration. The king was the head of the state. His office was hereditary and his prime duty was to protect the people from internal disturbance and external attacks. The rights of the kings were unlimited. The central administration was divided into different departments. There were many ministers to help the king. The kingdom was divided into many provinces. Provinces were known as mandalams. Each province was under the control of an official who worked according to the instruction of the king. Next, we have economy. Land revenue was the main source of the income. Okay, it was one third of the total produce, and economic condition of the people was very good. And agriculture, trade, and weaving were the chief occupation of the people. Irrigational facilities were well developed that increased the agricultural yield. Chola rulers spent a major part of their income on public welfare. Next, we have society. The society of South India was caste ridden, like in the north. The Brahmins, the priestly class, and the Kshatriyas, warrior class, dominated lower classes. The peasants tilled the land which belonged to the rulers of the temples, means they were not the owners. Okay, next we have religion. So, religion played an important part in South India, and Buddhism and Jainism were not very popular. Hinduism was the most popular religion, and Vedic sacrifices were quite common. The cult of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva also became important during this time. Kanchipuram was an important center of studies of Sanskrit and regional languages like Tamil. And it was also a center of pilgrimage for Hindu devotees. Bhakti saints preached the teachings of the epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata. The epics were translated into many South Indian languages. Many great literary works like Silpadikaram and Mani Mekalai in Tamil were written during this period. Next, we have education. So, temples of South India were not only the place of worship but also important centers of culture, administration, and education. Each temple had an attached matha which provided free education, boarding, and lodging to the students. Some temples emerged as leading cultural centers where fairs, contests, and other cultural activities were organized. Though Sanskrit continued as the language of scholars, Tamil, Kannada, and Telugu also progressed. Okay, look here. The famous saints and philosophers of this period were Shankaracharya and Ramanuj. Okay, medieval period. Okay. Next, we have art and architecture. So, the ruler of southern kingdoms were not only great warriors but also great patrons of art and architecture. They built many important temples. Large rock cut temple at Mahabalipuram, Kailashnath were and the Kailashnath were built during 8th century. Okay, you can see here in the picture, this is Mahabalipuram and below it Kailashnath, and this is the statue of Nataraj. Okay, so Shiva temple of Tanjore and the bronze statue of Nataraj are fine example of Chola art. Okay, this is Chola art, so you need to memorize this. Next, we have Shankaracharya. So many years ago, when the practice of dharma was on the decline in India, Adi Shankara appeared on the scene and propagated ancient Vedic dharma in the form of Advaita, or the philosophy of non-duality. At an early age, Adi Shankara learned the Vedas and he realized that the oneness or Ektavam is the essence of all knowledge. This is the doctrine of Advaita. What is the doctrine? The absolute is one alone, means God is one. Simple, if I say simply. Shankaracharya taught the rules of bhakti, yoga, karma to brighten the intellect and purify the heart. Advaita is the awareness of the divine in everything and everywhere. Shankaracharya suggested satsanga as the very first step in sadhana. Okay, which was the first step? Satsanga. Okay, satsanga means the company of wise and good people, and he established 4 moths in 4 extreme corners of India to spread the message of Advaita all over the country. And they were in the north, it was Jyotir Matha at Badrinath, in west Shraddha Peeth, at Dwarka in the east, Govardhan Matha at Puri in the south, Sringeri Matha at Sringeri. Okay, Sankaracharya lived only for 32 years, but during that time he purified and consolidated various schools of worship and brought them under the umbrella of one philosophical principle, Advaita. Okay, so who is the father of Advaita? Shankaracharya. Let's do these question answers. So first question we have, who was the founder of Chola dynasty? So it was Vijayalaya. The famous temple built by Rajaraj I at Tanjore was Rajarajeshwar temple. Which kingdom gave a final blow to the Pandyas? It was Vijayanagar. Next we have, the term Mandalam stands for provinces or a province. What was the main source of income of the Chola rulers? It was land revenue, land tax. Okay. Next we have fill in the blanks. So during 750 CE, South India saw the rule of Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Next is, Indian historians believe that Chalukyas were Kshatriyas. Okay. Next is, blank defeated Pallavas. So Cholas defeated Pallavas. And if we talk about a ruler, then it was Vijayalaya. Okay, Vijayalaya was the first ruler and he defeated Pallavas. Okay, so according to the option you can fill anything, Cholas or Vijayalaya. Okay. Next is, blank succeeded Raja Raj. So Rajendra Chola succeeded his father Raja Rajban. Blank was the main center of education during. So temples were the main centers of the education, and there was mathas attached to the temples that provided lodging, education, boarding to the students. Okay, and Kanchipuram was the main center. Okay, Kanchipuram was famous for the learning of Sanskrit and other regional languages. This is part C. Name the king. Here are some names of the kings as per their dynasties and arrange them according to their period. Okay, so you have to write here Chola rulers and here Pandya rulers and according to their period. Okay, period wise. Okay, for example, Vijayalaya first, then after comes his son Raja Rajban. This is question number C. Here are given some names of the kings. You have to arrange them according to their dynasties and their periods. Chola rulers here and Pandya rulers here and period wise. For example, Vijayalaya was the founder, then after his son Prantak I, then after comes Prantak I was the grandson of Vijayalaya. Then after his son Raja Raj I, then after Rajendra I. Okay, in this way you have to do this. Okay, I'm assigning you this. Next part D and E. First question is, name the powerful kingdom that emerged in South India in 8th century. So it was Chola Empire. Okay, Chola kingdom. Next, name 3 main kingdoms that were mentioned in Ashoka's edicts: Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas. Which languages flourished during Cholas and Pandyas period? So they were Kannada, Tamil, Telugu. Okay. And next, question number 4. Name the main areas that formed the part of the Pandya kingdom. So they had Madurai, Tirunelveli and parts of Travancore. Okay. Next, question number 5. Where were rock cut temples built? So rock cut temple was built in Mahabalipuram. Okay, Mahabalipuram. Okay, so this is all for the day. Part E will discuss in our next class. Thank you very much. Like and share the video and also subscribe the channel. Thank you.